Hey everybody, I'm back in the garden, and apologies for the delay with this video. I actually did a whole lot of work over here over the weekend, the past couple of weeks. So, lessons learned, right? Number one, I did not know that French marigolds get as big, bushy, and enormous as they do compared to, these are the traditional marigolds that I got at the, at the garden center that you always get, that I grew up with. And if you, I don't know if you can see by comparison, but these are the traditional marigolds, and then those are the French. So the French marigolds are about 3 times the size. So I put too many in. So I spent a lot of time opening up the sun canopy and ripping out all of these flowers. There's just too many. I think I'm the only plot who planted so many companion flowers. Most of the plots, look like this. It's purely just vegetables. But I wanted to keep the pests out of my garden. I'm familiar with flowers, so I planted them, but too many. So this over here on this side, on the edge of the plot, it's fine because there's not a whole lot of vegetables there, and they're actually not taking up a lot of space. They're just on the edge. These are the beans that are just about finished. I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to pull those or not. You can see my cucumbers are making their way up the trellis, and that's working out really nicely. They look happy. The peppers benefited the most from the clear out. So I pulled a couple of these French marigolds out from here, opened up the sun canopy. They were a little droopy when I did that, but I'm over here about 2 days later, and they've certainly perked up, and I've got some peppers actually growing on there, so that was good. I also cut back these California giant zinnias, because the zinnias were also taking up too much space. So what I did was I just thinned them out. I went in at the bottom and just cut them out from coming over this way. So you can see in the back, my eggplants are doing well. I came over here to put some stakes on them, but they seem pretty sturdy and tall. There's no heavy fruits on them yet, so I might wait for that. It's my neighbors getting ready for the 4th. I took my first harvest of basil out of there today. I just cut about half of those back that had started to flower. I took a little bit out of here behind the calendula. My tomatoes are catching up to everybody else's and making their way up the trellis there. So everybody's doing good. I also found out that these tomatillos that have all this wonderful growth and flowers may actually not produce a whole lot of fruit. So if you look over here, I do have a pod here. Can you leave it open? Thank you. So there's one husk there. There's another one, couple down here. But I don't see a whole lot on these plants. So like I said, they're almost as tall as I am. So they will hopefully produce a little bit more husk. So back here, you can see how tall everything is. These zinnias are about as tall as I am. They're so pretty. And every time I come over here, there's always a lot of bees on the zinnias. So I think that was a good call to plant these to call the pollinators over. But I think next year what I might do is put these, if I plant the same ones, I'm going to put them along the back and move the tomatoes forward. Because you can see that they're way taller. There's a tomato plant down here that has tomatoes on it. It looks relatively happy. It might be the type. It's just not very tall. You can see that it's like half the height of the others. My Swiss chard looks amazing. So what I did here was I thinned it out. I pulled about half of the plants out, harvested a bunch of the chard, and whatever's left over looks a lot healthier. Like I was mentioning, chard grows from the inside out. So if you slice off the outside rows of leaves and harvest them for eating, it'll keep growing from the inside. Exciting thing today, I put some pole beans seeds in the ground. So they started to come up. So I just put this teepee up here. So to give these pole beans something to go grow up on. I left these French marigolds, but I did cut them way back off the bed, so they're basically on the edge. There's 3 more pole bean seeds in here somewhere. My squash is doing really well. And then finally, I planted some more squash seeds around here, so hopefully they will sprout and grow up here. But that was just on Sunday, so it'll probably take about a week to see if they come up. So we are kind of mid-season. You can see that I pulled all of my beets out of this area. Over here, my carrots were here and a row of green onions. So I pulled all of that out. I pulled all of the beets out of here. I left these green onions because I still have some of the others. So the plan here, I planted 2 more rows of green onions, and every like 2 to 3 weeks, I'm gonna plant a couple of more rows and just keep this as onions. And we'll see how that goes. I may be able to squeeze something into this front space in here as well. I also, every time, wherever I pulled out old plants, I went to the garden center and got some compost and mixed it in and fed the soil before I put the seeds back in there. So hopefully everybody has enough nutrition to grow. I did not do a soil test, which is like step 2. Like I said, I'm over here right around sunset. It looks really pretty in the garden, right? But this year is my learning year. But I have been eating out of this garden. I ate a whole lot of string beans. I ate those onions. I still have carrots left. I still have beets. I had some beet greens for dinner tonight with the Swiss chard that I harvested. And so, you know, it's working. Bunny. This little guy, I keep seeing him whenever I come over to my garden plot. So he's like 2 plots over. I haven't seen a whole lot of predation, so I won't harass him too much for now, but it is a little baby. Bunny! Look, he's not that far away. But that's it. Happy gardening. See you next time.